Welcome, parents, friends, and Seabury Hall class of 2020. Each year at graduation ceremonies and events, I find that I must remind students that commencement means beginning, not ending. There are tears because there's a piece of our experience that seems to be over, when actually we should be so joyous at the years and what lies ahead. This is easy to forget when graduation is at the culmination of a period of time that has been so important and significant to us. And after years of a series of events of hard work that brings us together in a celebratory moment. But actually, commencement is truly significant because it's a signal that defines a pathway forward. This year's graduation, in its many, many forms and styles and circumstances, is a moment like no other. But still, commencement is for you to recognize and believe that it is your signal to take a pause to understand how your education has become the impetus for you to take actions to respond to the needs of the moment and the moment in time. In addition to the feelings in your head and your heart that you are feeling right now, it's a shout for each of you to begin to seek a path forward to commence to help everyone, including yourself, to find a way to heal. When you were little kids, there were phrases that defined some elementary and middle school memories for you, things that went together, specifically hide and seek, lost and found. A robust game of hide and seek meant that you needed to open your eyes and look around and think about the strategy of that other person. Where would she hide? Finding that other person was a problem solved. When you found her, there were shrieks of joy, some chasing, a hard smack on the back. You figured it out. You were smarter. Lost and found, that sinking feeling when you lost something and you just knew when you got home and told your mom that you lost your new jacket or your iPhone, you could imagine the consequences. The days of being grounded, trapped in your room, alone, no friends. But then you found it. There it is. Aha. It's the moment when hope was realized and anxiety of the future was quickly turned to joy. When you won that game of hide and seek, you felt empowered. When that item was found, you were determined that you would be more cautious, more attentive, more organized, more thoughtful, because now that found item was more valuable and appreciated so acutely. It's very easy for us to sit around and commiserate what has been lost and what has been taken from us, and what we believe we will never find again. And we cannot forget in our quest to move forward that there really are losses. Losses of life, livelihood, jobs that may never return, savings, trust, the feeling of the safety of loss of time spent together, celebrations of birthdays, weddings, and pivotal moments in our lives. In the past, we were defined by these special events. They were significant and seared into our memories because they are so different from our day-to-day routines. They were distinct moments that we captured in photos and were written into history in our hearts forever. In a graduation speech very recently, former President Barack Obama said, "This is the time for young people to seize initiative, and seize you must. As beautiful and heartwarming and memory-making as traditions are, no one can tell you, the class of 2020, that this is what we do, this is how it's done, this is how it's supposed to be, this is your only path. You have more tools and information and educational opportunities than any generation or class before you to find that path forward. You get to rebuild, figure it out, and start again." Wonderful words to reflect commencement. So back to commencement and what it means. Virtual or in person, drive-through, or simply a diploma in the mail, commencement is the same as always because the significance remains the same. You will still go on to find that path to make your dreams a reality. You will still become scientists, doctors, teachers, lawyers, writers, and international business innovators. And this graduation year and these graduation moments will be seared into your hearts forever. Seabury Hall class of 2020, I leave you with this very simple thought. We don't always get to choose what happens to us. We do, however, get to choose what we do about it. There is so much out there beyond this moment in time that needs you. Surround yourself with doers, positive thinkers, be inspired by challenges, be undaunted by loss, be a motivator, remain positive and encouraged by creative solutions. Feed your intellect, feed your soul, be intentional with your choices. What we have learned is we cannot depend on the past. What we have learned is that we cannot take things for granted. We have learned that things are now different. We are different. Most importantly, you, the class of 2020, are unique and you are needed. Your passion, your knowledge, your beliefs, your moral compass, your education, your focus. Do not let what you may have lost define you. You will find so much more by opening your eyes and looking around. Find your place, find your joyous moments, build on them to choose what happens to you. Take the reality that we have been given, these unique situations, and understand and believe that this is your opportunity to recreate. Seabury Hall class of 2020, you get to choose what to do, and you get to rewrite commencement and define your moments moving forward in new, creative, and brilliant ways. We are so proud that we have been a part of this moment with you, and we hope that you will take with you all that you have learned and discovered at Seabury Hall with you as you commence with members of the class of 2020 from all over the world to shape a new and better world for all of us. It has absolutely been my honor to be a part of this incredible year with each and every one of you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Aloha, I'm Stephen Rothkoff, the proud upper school head here at Seabury Hall, and honored as we honor the class of 2020. Delivering a recorded speech for graduation is a first for me, and not what any of us expected at the end of the 2020 school year. But here we are. We managed to persevere by adapting new ways of doing things. The school clearly could not have managed through the last few months without the class of 2020, working with the administration and fellow students. Right from the first day of school, this class continued a proud tradition of being active in student life and true collaborators for the betterment of all. My first real glimpse into how the class of 2020 could work together so well was in preparing for orientation day. This class made it truly an inclusive day and set the tone for the school year. Throughout the year, students have continued to advocate, but also offer forward thinking. This forward thinking was vital after spring break. The class may not always have been timely, but they always managed to come together and meet the challenges they faced. It's an understatement to say that life can throw you a curveball at times, and you need to be able to find a way to adapt. The graduating class of 2020 helped lead the way in showing us all how to adapt. It's clear the class of 2020 accepted the past is not always the future. The class of 2020 knows traditions and respects the way things have been done before them, but have demonstrated open-mindedness many adults can learn from. These graduates are going to make us all better because as our future leaders, they'll be more prepared for change, more willing to challenge what was always done, wanting to know the why, and most importantly, willing to ask why not. The great theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking said, "Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change." This is where we can learn from the class of 2020, because adaptability is one of your superpowers. During your 18 years, you've seen change at an increasing rate. You know that change comes quickly and that change is certain. Change is indeed inevitable, and now it comes at an ever-increasing rate. Think about these marks in history that have affected who you are today. For many of us today, 9/11 was an event we all lived through. For you, this day in history is a historical event, as you may have never known the world without 9/11. Most of you were 7 years old when Hawaii's own President Obama was elected the 44th President of the United States. You're likely younger than the iPod, which came out in 2001, and you were just 5 years old when the first iPhone was released. We're now in OS 13.4. One of the ways many of our graduate families are watching this graduation will be through YouTube. The class of 2020 was only 3 years old when YouTube launched. How about social media? The class of 2020 was only 2 years old when Facebook became a thing. I doubt your class is even using Facebook anymore. You were 4 years old when Twitter came on the scene. TikTok came on the scene in 2017 and has an estimated following of over 800 million users worldwide in just 3 years. It's one of the most popular apps amongst your generation because you made it so. Clearly, your class is finding new ways to express yourself, using social media and becoming increasingly active in sharing ideas and communicating with others, the likes we've never seen before. You have diverse views and as such are reigniting a passion in the democratic process that is so needed. I do hope you will all vote. We are all in the midst of change we can readily see and feel, but today is very different. As now you are all adults, you'll be making history not only as the graduating class that survived the pandemic, but also managing to graduate Seabury Hall as you begin your transition into what lies ahead. We can all learn from you. You've demonstrated being patient, resourceful, collaborative, resilient, and most importantly, how to come together during trying times. All of this has not been an easy feat, and it's apparent to all around you. Without really knowing what lies ahead of us, knowing there is not one easy path to follow, we must understand it's okay not to have all the answers. I have confidence we can look to your graduating class to actively contribute to providing them. We look forward to your leadership, your innovative ideas, ingenuity, and want to thank you for persevering and teaching all of us that change can help us grow. Congratulations on all of your achievements, class of 2020. You deserve this day and so much more. Believe in your strengths and your adaptability because class of 2020, we all do. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Welcome everybody, my name is Amelie Wertheim and I am the class of 2020's Salutatorian. I came to Seabury ready for change. At my old school, I was used to learning in a pretty rambunctious environment. Our class didn't have luck with our assigned teachers, and that in turn made us a crazy handful to deal with. We taped trash to the walls and threw food at the fan so that it would be flung across the room. I'm not exaggerating. I can attest to being hit in the face with a mushed up peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I had grown accustomed to this wild school environment where students did whatever we wanted to, and no one was really able to stop us. Coming from this chaos made it all the more surprising when I started high school at Seabury and discovered something so completely opposite from what I had been experiencing. Suddenly, all the kids had a drive to do their best, and everyone was involved in everything. At my old school, I had 14 kids in my class. The curriculum was set, and there were few opportunities to individually discover something new. Hence, I was blown away by how many extracurricular activities Seabury had to offer. There were so many things to be a part of, and I had no idea which activities I should participate in. Club Fair came around, and I signed up for a total of 6 clubs. Engaging in every imaginable activity foreshadowed my high school career, as well as all of yours. We involved ourselves in every aspect of the Seabury community, like hands reaching out to touch and mold clay. This desire to be involved and to be a source of positive change showed me right off the bat that I had just joined a class that I could feel so incredibly proud of. Most of us know about the high school stereotypes, the jocks, the popular kids, the nerds. What I believe has distinguished our class is that we are a perfect blend of it all. Nobody in our class can be stuck into any one category. Each one of us is part nerd, part thespian, part jock, and part cool kid. And because of this, we have grown to not only appreciate and love what unites us, but also what makes us unique. As bright-eyed little freshmen, we roamed the Seabury campus, proud to finally be a high schooler. It's hard to admit it, but we were probably the annoying kids clogging up the hallways. But we were on a mission to find our new spot in this order and to make sure that we left our fingerprint on Seabury. And looking back now, I can say that we did a pretty good job of it. We joined clubs, worked hard to be a part of varsity teams, and danced and sang in Sister Act. Sophomore year rolled around, and we were able to proudly say that we had memorized our block schedule. As sophomores, we were still underclassmen, but we already had a sense of what it means to be a Spartan. At this point, one hand was tightly attached to an activity that we felt passionate about, while the other still roamed freely to explore new and exciting ventures. When it was our turn to put on the Shakespeare Festival, we only resisted a little bit before giving it our all. And when it was time for our first prom, we held back with nothing. Junior year was wild. First off, we were finally upperclassmen, which meant that we were the ones that the underclassmen got to look up to. But it also meant that we had a whole lot more responsibility. I, for one, entered 11th grade telling myself that this was the year that would decide my future. Everything was on my mind. How do I get the best SAT and ACT scores possible? What extracurricular activities can I do to add to my resume? Where do I want to go to college? And what do I want to be after college? Throughout junior year, we stretched our arms out from ourselves. So many responsibilities tugged on us from all directions, but we managed to hold on to what we valued most. There was so much going on that I would have to agree with the people who say that junior year is the hardest year in high school. It was physically taxing, but it also brought with it so many amazing memories, like participating in or watching Anything Goes and witnessing some priceless Miss Middleton moments. By the end of the year, we had hosted senior luau, and watching everyone stick together to make that evening truly amazing reassured me that we would have an awesome senior year ahead of us. This last year, for me, cemented my pride and love for this class. We started the year off with a bang on orientation day. I will quote Mrs. Walsh, who said that in her opinion, we had put on the best senior orientation day ever, and I couldn't agree more. The year continued with plenty of equally amazing demonstrations of our leadership, from hosting the first ever homecoming to raising thousands of dollars for cancer to engaging the school in a successful Halloween overnighter. We applied to college, got accepted, and at this point know where we are headed next year. That's quite an accomplishment. Although we ended the year in a way that was less than ideal, you all still managed to impress me with your commitment to learning and your passion to stay connected with the Seabury community. You have proven that nothing will stop us. Innes found ways to continuously re-engage the school by greeting us creatively each morning. Some of you came to school with different backdrops each day, and others impressed me with your creative ways of learning from home by participating in online classes for cooking, dance, physiology, or meditation. It was disappointing not being able to see each other every day during our last few months as seniors, but you all have shown me that the time away also brought positives with it. I think we all found ways to grow as individuals, but also as a class. Going through this together will only make us more resilient. Because of this pandemic and now the Black Lives Matter movement, we will go into the world with an even stronger conviction of what is right and what we want to use our lives for to change the course of history. We have definitely left our mark on Seabury by reaching our hands out, engaging in so many activities, and in my opinion, improving upon everything that we have touched. Now it is time to loosen our hold on Seabury and find new things to grip onto and improve upon. I hold this class in such high esteem, which is why I am certain that when we each leave next year, we will be able to maintain integrity and use our courage, creativity, dedication, and authenticity to be forces of change that will steer this world in the right direction. Each one of us has a passion that with guidance and care can change the world and make an impact. We have left our fingerprint on Seabury Hall. Now let's go leave it on the world. Thank you.
Dear classmates, friends, faculty, and everyone else watching this right now, thank you all for tuning in. For those of you who don't know, my name is Amira Waterford, and I am the valedictorian of the Seabury Hall class of 2020. To begin, I'd like to say some very special thank yous. First off, thank you to my parents. There has never been a day in my life that I have not felt loved and supported by you both, and there are no words to express how incredibly, incredibly grateful I am for the sacrifices and choices that you have made for Leela and I. You've always taught me to dream big and to do everything in my power to achieve these dreams. And because of you, I firmly believe that anything is possible. On behalf of my classmates, Thank you to all the teachers, administrators, and mentors who have been so invested in us for not just the last 4 years, but for the last decade and a half. You've made our futures possible, and we will remember you for the rest of our lives. I respect and admire you all so much, and I hope you realize what an impact you've had on me and every other student of yours. We will make you beyond proud. To my classmates, you have impacted me more than you know. You inspire me with your contagious excitement, whether it be from the little day-to-day things, like finding out that there's Thai chicken for lunch, but also from the big, life-altering things, like opening up your acceptance to your dream college. You motivate me with the admirable balance you found between going to school, playing a sport, and working late into the night, but never letting your fatigue prevent you from making some joke in the hallway between classes. You impress me with your curious mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration that the actors, actresses, and dancers of our class display during Tech Week, right before performing in these unfailingly impressive productions. You move me with the way you sense a friend in need and unfailingly step up to support them, long before I or anyone else realizes something is wrong. You amaze me with your strength when you yourself go through a difficult time, yet manage to stay positive and focused on uplifting those around you. You thought all of this went unnoticed, but I'm here to tell you that it did not. I know the last 4 years did not in any way reflect the High School Musical-like utopia that we had once dreamed of, and the last few months of senior year were not the spectacular finale we had hoped for. Still, being surrounded by individuals like each of you over the past 4 years has inspired me to act with energy, purpose, and compassion. Going to Seabury has changed my life not only because of the classroom education that I've received, but also because of the incredible community of people that I've met. You are the people that have made me who I am and oftentimes showed me who I'd like to be. That said, I know we have only experienced a tiny part of what life has to offer, and as we enter our adult lives, we will continue to be inspired, exhilarated, and battle-tested. Even in our small class of 75, we come from many different backgrounds, circumstances, and perspectives. For those of you attending college in the fall, consider that your future class will be 10 or 20 or even 100 times larger. It's natural to gravitate towards people that look like you or think like you or enjoy the same things as you. But I urge you to use this new and diversified environment as an opportunity to examine the world through a different set of eyes. To add some context to what I mean, I'd like to speak briefly on a topic that is both important to me and recently prevalent in the media. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, Black Lives Matter. It's necessary to realize that this is much more than just a hashtag. It's a movement dedicated to countering the ongoing injustices against the Black community. It's an ideology that calls for deep changes to our current systems that will end the devaluation of Black lives and begin to correct centuries of legalized oppression. It's a mindset that condemns all forms of racism and seeks to finally stop the celebration of America's undoubtedly racist history. I won't pretend to know what the exact solutions are, but I think one step that all of us must take to support Black Lives Matter is to better understand how our own perspectives and experiences fit into the bigger picture. Black Lives Matter is one of many current humanitarian issues that requires widespread advocacy in order for its goals to be met. True advocacy means going beyond having conversations with people that you agree with. I'm not just encouraging these uncomfortable conversations, I'm telling you that they are absolutely necessary. Even if just for a moment, step away from the echo chamber of your Instagram feed and your inner circles and make absolutely sure that your beliefs reflect a complete picture. It's okay, expected even, to change your mind upon discovering new information. So take the time to read about, to listen to, and to understand issues that exist outside of your own background and experiences. Then, use your newly educated voice to fight for what you've found to be right. Be receptive to learning as well as unlearning. Although you might initially feel unaffected by certain issues, you'll realize that issues that affect one of us actually affect all of us if you widen your lens. You've been blessed with a mouth to speak out against injustice, eyes to identify privilege, a nose to sniff out bias, ears to listen to others' experiences, a mind to think critically, a heart to think compassionately, and hands to take action and force a change. Use these gifts and we can shape our world into a place we will all be proud of. Before I finish, I'd like to give a special thank you to the teachers who are retiring this year. To Mr. Bulkley, thank you for being my advisor for 2 years. I'll never forget that day in assembly when Mr. Franco's band was performing and you, from your seat on the side of the CAC, feverishly jammed out to the rock and roll music filling the room. Even though we were definitely grumpy at 8 a.m. every morning, you never let that quell your enthusiasm. To Miss Locke, Honors Chem was one of my most memorable classes. We had so much fun, especially the 8 of us that sat in the back row, which you dubbed the octet dream in reference to the ideal number of valence electrons surrounding an atom. To Mr. Silverman, every single graduate of the Seabury Hall class of 2020 has gone through your physics class. I don't know any other teacher who has been as universally impactful as you. You taught us to be precise and diligent in everything that we do, and always made sure there was a clear path in the hallway so we had absolutely no excuse for being tardy to your class. To the class of 2020, if you're still listening at this point, I want to give you a huge congratulations. It's been a privilege to know each and every one of you. Know that I'll be cheering you on from afar for many, many years to come. I wish you the world. Thank you.
To our Seabury Hall community, parents, extended family, friends, and most importantly, to the graduating class of 2020, aloha, and thank you for joining us virtually. To the graduating class of 2020, I want to thank you for your leadership around campus and for all the work that you've done since before the school year even started. From a senior orientation day that personally I would never forget, to the many in-school and out-of-school activities, to the realm of sports and plays and dances and everything in between, you guys have been model students and will sincerely be missed. In any given year, the graduating class goes on senior trip, the week of graduation. Now you graduates may have heard stories throughout your time here at Seabury, such as the crazy long hike that only a cardiophile could love, or the 5-star cabins out in the boonies. One of my favorite parts of senior trip that is not the boat ride to Molokini is the last 2 hours of the trip. During these 2 hours, you as graduates have the opportunity to mend any grievances, share any appreciation for one another, and really just say one last thing while you're all together. Since we did not have this opportunity this year, I want to share with all of you, speaking to the graduating class of 2020, what I would have said about a month ago. To the 75 of you guys graduating today, I want to sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart for your kindness and your respect that you have shown me throughout our time together. Granted, every once in a while, one of you would question my 6'4" stature, but I know that was always done out of love. More importantly, I'm extremely grateful for your honesty with me and the trust that we have developed over this time. And thus it is because of this trust that we have in each other that I've decided to speak to you today on something that I hold dear to my heart. Now, as a preface, there may be some of your family and friends who, upon hearing this, may disagree. And there may be some who become offended, but this speech is not for them. I have prepared this speech directly for you, and therefore, from this point onward, I will address the 75 of you. So I humbly ask that you perk up, listen carefully, and allow your favorite teacher 5 more minutes to share with you something that I hope will positively impact your lives. The great philosopher Kobe Bryant said, "The most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great at whatever they want to do." We currently live in a world, more specifically in a country, that is divided and broken. We live in an atmosphere and environment of hatred and racism. Unfortunately, human rights violations persist, and numberless atrocities continue to this day based on skin color, ethnicity, gender identity, and sexual orientation. More than ever, our society needs people like you to inspire and influence others for positive change. Now, you may be sitting down thinking to yourself, how can I inspire or influence others? I don't have that social media clout. My own sibling doesn't listen to me. Then what? You don't have to be famous or have a large following to be inspirational or influential. Think with me for a moment about someone who inspires you or influences you in a positive way. I would submit that the most influential people in your lives are not uber famous. Rather, they are passionate in their role as a parent or a friend. Thus, step number 1 is, in order to inspire and influence others for good, we need to have passion. the passion to do what is right, the passion to leave this world in a better place than when we entered it. In order to light the fire of change in others, we must be burning bread in ourselves. We become conduits of change when we educate ourselves, when we donate our time, our talents, our possessions, our efforts to a better future. Therefore, becoming passionate starts with ourselves. And as we start this process and continue by doing good, we also begin to inspire and influence those around us. Not so much because they see what we do, rather they see what we are becoming because of what we are doing. There may be some of us sitting here that realize we barely have a spark in our eyes, while there may be others whose flames can be felt at a great distance. No matter where we fall in this spectrum, my invitation to all of us is to be passionate and then to share that passion. Then there might be some of us saying, self, I'm no expert on Black Lives Matter. Or self, I don't know everything on racism. You don't have to have 50 years of experience in human rights or politics. You don't have to have a doctorate degree to know what discrimination looks like. It doesn't take a genius to know right from wrong. A few weeks ago, I was appalled when a particular news anchor told LeBron James to shut up and dribble, because regardless of his influential power, he wasn't a politician. I hope that as you graduate from Seabury, that all of you feel comfortable and ready to take on the world, that none of you ever feel that you have to shut up. Therefore, number 2 is to be loud. Be loud in your actions, be loud in your convictions, and don't allow anyone to tell you to shut up and figuratively dribble. My final point comes from a philosopher not named Kobe Bryant. His name is Edmund Burke, and he proclaimed, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I consider all of you to be good men and women. There may have been times when you made a BLC here or there, and there will definitely be times in the future when you make another BLC. But I know you have good hearts. Therefore, it is of the utmost importance that each of us continue to do good. Good can take many forms. It can be joining a protest, making signs denouncing racism, having meaningful conversations, and most definitely voting in the upcoming elections. So lastly, step number 3, don't stop. Continue to be passionate, continue to be loud, continue to do good. The good that we do is analogous to a pebble in a pond. One pebble may seem insignificant in a pond, but that small ripple that is produced from the tiny pebble, stretched across distance and time, eventually its effects cover a wider range. Similarly, our good may seem small and insignificant at the moment, but stretched over distance and time, we will one day see a different, unrecognizable pond full of ripples consisting of a current of positive change. In closing, I want all of you to know that you will be missed. I was missed seeing your smiling faces around campus. The best part of my job was my interaction with all of you. The thousands of conversations we've had, the lunches we shared, our shared struggles and achievements in the Aryan Paradise, the chance to see you play your sport or dance or perform, you 75 have inspired and influenced me. And that is why I am sure that you can do the same for the world around you. Go forth and be passionate, be loud, and don't stop. In the same way that you have made me a better person and Seabury Hall a better place, you 75, the graduating class of 2020, will make this world a better home. Thank you.
Avery Anuhea Kailianu Laijun Akeo. Parker Nicholas Keanuinui Almeida. Ennis Muir Asher. Justin Nicholas Bejanaru. Rachel Rose Bergson. Sienna Danielle Bigelow. Megan Angelique Boutier. Maya Michaela Brown. Tahiti Annalise Cabrina. Caitlin Anuhea Marin Campbell. Dominic Charles Caroso. Kira Dolores Katerina. Nathan Kale Pelina Pono Ona Ohana Aloha Chin. Ujaya Jeremiah Cunningham. Jonathan Michael Courier. Jaden Helena Ratty Davis. Grace Marie Devaney. Michaela Kayana Dunnell. Madison Hailani Eiting. Oliver Basil MD. Joshua Caden Farwig. Maxwell James Flammer. Joshua Patrick Foley. Kalahi Keiko Kiahonui Fong. Gabriel Kali Frampton. Alexander Javi Nathaniel Frith. Caden James Granum. Noah Allison Greenwell. Timothy Kai Gruppenhoff. Rena Hata. Sophia Elena Mancini Horowitz. Cassidy Kaimilani Lynn Howarth. Jason Han. Kazutaka Kalanimoku Oka Maluhia Inama Nakaaki. Hudson William Kirkendall Jackson. Malia Mandela Jalbert. Sean Henry Janik. David Kai Jenkins. Ariana Sarira Johnson. Daniel Kakoa Judge. Taylor Akami Kawakami. Chase Jonathan Keating. Jacob Laakia Kaiser. John William Curtin. Daisy Jane Kopachinski. Thomas Wilson Mauliola Hong Ching Lee. Savia Amber Lutenecker. Sierra Michelle Lewis. Chloe Lee Logrande. Kayala Kai Frost Lopez. Megan Renee Malcolm. Carl Eugene Molinaro. Blade McKenna Omura. Isabella Ann Otterson. Kailani Silva Phillips. Diani Hanayo Keolamai Pirner. Kai O. Priso. Amber Mieko Proctor. Emily Heather Rakes. Hannah Grace Rosenthal. Kalale Hope Ryden. Kimberly Ann Seaberg. Louis Kaapeha Smith. Kayara Noguera Soledad. Miles Mautner Stone. Eliana Tiare Swartz. Michelle Lauren Tasaki. Anaule Simbri Tuivai. Sophia Antonios Vanderveer. Cooper Devereaux Waite. Bo Shion Ward. Amira Celine Waterford. Amalie Mira Wertheim.